The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff discussed national security during a speech at the National Press Club in Washington Wednesday. Admiral Michael Mullen told the audience that violence is up in Afghanistan, but additional troops in Operation Khanjar will hopefully quell the violence. The chairman said any stabilization efforts in that region should also include Pakistan.
I've been to Pakistan 11 or 12 times over the last year and a half, and I think it represents the importance of both the engagement of the Pakistan military, where I spend certainly most of my time, and the importance of the country, and in fact the importance of the region to try to create stability.
Admiral Mullen said protecting the people of Afghanistan is a top priority. Military officials say another U.S. service member has died in Operation Khanjar. The service member was killed Wednesday during a combat reconnaissance patrol in Farah province. Meanwhile, the Defense Department Wednesday released a report on stability and security progress in Afghanistan. It concludes the United States continues to face severe challenges in the country. Air Force Master Sergeant George Maurer has more.
The report explains a new strategy which focuses on defeating, dismantling, and disrupting terrorist safe havens in both Afghanistan and Pakistan. Operation Khanjar kicked off in southern Afghanistan last week, with 4,000 U.S. Marines launching their largest operation since the Battle of Fallujah in 2004. Brigadier General Lawrence Nicholson, commander of Marine Expeditionary Brigade Afghanistan, spoke to the Pentagon Press Corps on Wednesday. He called the early stages of the operation very successful so far. He also said the best way to defeat the terrorists is to connect with local citizens.
The focus of this operation from the very beginning has been on the people, not the enemy. And that may sound very strange, and I got some raised eyeballs even when talking to Marines, but our focus is to get to the people.
The general said the Taliban are in large part fleeing southern Afghanistan and leaving behind large caches of weapons and IED-making materials. Another focus of the operation, he said, is to properly train Afghan soldiers to shoulder primary responsibility for security following the model used in Iraq. One sign of progress, he said, the governor of the Helmand province got to raise an Afghan flag over a castle on Wednesday, which has been occupied by the Taliban for years. General Nicholson called it an Iwo Jima-type moment for the Afghan governor. From the Pentagon, I'm Air Force Master Sergeant George Maurer.
More now on that Department of Defense report. The official report to Congress reinforces U.S. and coalition efforts to both provide security for the Afghan people and to train Afghan security forces so that they can take an increasing role in operations. The report also states that the number of Afghan security forces will increase in order to take on those greater roles and responsibilities, stating the expansion will begin with an accelerated buildup of the Afghan Army and Police to 134,000 and 86,600 respectively. The Alaska Air National Guard recently rescued 2 survivors of a plane crash. FAA officials notified the 11th Rescue Coordination Center Monday evening after the plane was 30 minutes late. The Air Guard followed its flight plan from Palmer, Alaska. Guardsmen spotted the downed aircraft near the Oshetna River early Tuesday morning and immediately landed. They transported the 2 victims to a hospital in Anchorage. Another National Guard unit in Ohio is preparing for deployment to Iraq. Family and friends attended a ceremony to say goodbye Tuesday to the 1483rd Transportation Company. It's the first overseas mobilization for this National Guard unit since it was created in 2004. The 180 men and women will help relocate heavy transportation assets for other units in Iraq.
It's hard for them as it is hard for us. But you know, we leave here, grown men and women, we're going to cry. Either like I'm crying now or cry inside.
The soldiers are expected to be in Iraq for about a year. Ahead on Around the Services, live ammo and language. See how one military translator is helping to bridge the bilingual gap. Also ahead, white coats. The military's future physicians mark a very important milestone.